Yeah, I go to Thailand a couple times a year for training camps. I usually start there. Last time I went with my dad, took dad there, so it was a good little bonding experience.
Завтра тренировочка еще одна.
Yeah, straight after the fight, I was like, let's get some work in. I didn't think he was gonna actually say yes, but he said yes, and then I said, are you sure? And he had to make sure that it was sweet to go, and then yeah, we reconnected. It was a good experience, years and years in the making. But yeah, it was a good time to see Dad and just connect as a father and son, you know, not just as a fighter.
Увидимся наверху.
Да. What kind of training were you guys doing together?
He was trying to just break me. Honestly, he was just trying to break me, and I was like, all right, you want to go down that path? Let's do it, you know. But yeah, it was good fun. He used to tell me the stories he used to do and how he used to do all this and that. And I was like, all right, I'll try my best as well.
What do you think he learned about you and training with you and pushing you to your limits?
Unbreakable and hungry, you know, unbreakable and hungry, and yeah, they're the two things.
Let's go. Go up. Boy, there you go. There you go. So when you are thinking every time you step, put in the position for your next punch or to roll. Put to the side. Put it on the side. You're going backwards, that's how you do it. That's to the side. Good boy. Beautiful. You can try to right hand first, right hand first. That's it. All the way out. Punch through the meat. Fall into it. Again. King, come on.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of
First off, I want to say there's stuff I know about Errol Spence's future in boxing that I have sworn to secrecy and I just can't mention. It's not that for sure it's going to happen, but these are the things that I've been hearing, and you know, I just really can't say anything. And it didn't surprise me to see video of him hitting the mitts and working out. Well, if you look at his physique, you can tell he's been working out. My assessment of his mitt work right now, he looks rusty, as he should. He looks rusty, looks like he's pushed his punches a little bit. He always kind of pushed his jab though. But it looks like he's taking it light, probably warming up. You're not going to see everything he's doing. His physique, his body looks well conditioned. He looks healthy, right? I'm happy he took some time off after Terrence Crawford. That shit was crazy. I mean, you know, he had the accident, then he came back and fought Danny Swift Garcia, then he was gone for a while. He fought Ugas. I think he had like another accident. Then he had a detached retina when he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao, and then fought Terrence Crawford and that shit. So really, he should have taken some time off, not just to reassess what he's going to do in his career, but to also get some rest.
Two fighters have plenty to prove on July 26 when they enter the ring to fight for a last chance to keep their career hopes alive. Errol Spence Jr., one of the most feared fighters in boxing, has never been the same since his defeat to Terrence Crawford in 2023. The superstar boxer was forced into retirement after the defeat, and it has been nearly 3 years since we've heard any news regarding him. A few months back, fans were thrilled when it was revealed that Spence joined hands with the legendary Roy Jones Jr. The Hall of Famer expressed his desire to help Spence revive his career and had a few things to say regarding their partnership.
Yeah. Now, we got another fight that just got announced, Thurman Fondora, end of March. Good fight. You worked a little bit with Spence out here, always whispers about him coming back. Can he compete against those guys at this point?
He can definitely compete against those guys because one time is about the same age as him, I think, or close to it, maybe a little older than him. And one time's been off for a long time as well. He's had a lot of gaps in his career, so he could definitely compete with one time. But one time he was a good fighter. Fondora is a freak of nature, totally different set of rules to climb. Fondora is definitely not the easiest package of that group because he's so tall at 154. So he'll be the one I would say least likely to challenge. But at the same time, Errol is so good at what he does. Errol can get himself back to being Errol Spence. He's going to be a problem for both of them.
Are you still working with him, Roy?
I mean, you know, my door is always open. So I opened a gym here in Dallas. I couldn't tell nobody to come through that door that I won't work with him. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm always open to give advice, open to be there for whatever I can be there for. I'm not telling nobody I want to train nobody, but if they do want to work with me, I'm right here. You feel me? So it's like I'm open to work with whoever I got to work with. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like God gave me so many gifts that if I don't share them with the world, then I'm being wrong. So if somebody came to me and asked me, hey, you think you can do anything? I said, let me look at you, come in the gym, let me see. If you work out, you work good enough, I think we can add to you, sure. I don't think we can add to you, I'm gonna be like, no, I don't think I can really help. I don't think I can do nothing. If I can't do nothing, I'm not gonna lie and say I can, so I don't know.
Spence is also reportedly training with Jermell Charlo and his legendary trainer Ronnie Shields. At 36 years old, the former unified welterweight champion proves that he still has it in him. His power and speed are intact, and the latest footage with Charlo shows that he can move around the ring with ease.
Yes,
Spence sure does look good in the boxing gym. However, he does need some more experience under the bright lights to get rid of the ring rust before he fights Tim Tszyu, a fight which takes place in Australia. Tim Tszyu is a tough challenge, and if Spence doesn't come fully prepared, his comeback could end even before it begins. Legendary boxing trainer Robert Garcia expressed his frustration at Errol for not fighting a tune-up fight, implying that jumping straight into the Tim Tszyu fight could prove to be a massive mistake. He praised Tszyu's performance in his warm-up against Denis Nurja, saying that he has the skills and jab to be a competitive fighter. He also pointed out Tim's vulnerability of getting injured and bloodied in the ring far too easily. He nevertheless praises Tszyu for being able to stand his ground and fight despite the blood and cuts he endured during the fight. As for Spence, Garcia believes he has nothing more to show, and Tim Tszyu wins the upcoming fight. Tim Tszyu himself has been calling out Errol Spence since his victory over Nurja, and he seems confident going into this massive fight with a former unified champion. Analysts have been closely studying this matchup, and it's not looking good for Spence. They believe that Errol Spence is a mystery fighter going into this matchup. And while Tim Tszyu hasn't fared well either during his recent fights, his victory over Nurja gives him a small advantage over Spence. Analysts feel that Tszyu is a better fighter and he could trouble Spence during the fight. The analysts are hesitant to pick Errol Spence as the victor in this fight. Sean Porter and Sean Zittel recently broke down Tszyu's victory over Nurja, and there were some surprising insights that came out. Zittel notes that while Tszyu may not be exactly the same after his recent battles, he still looks sharper in his punch-for-punch combinations and maintains a solid foundation without getting off balance. He expresses concern for Spence, citing his long layoff and a lackluster performance against Terrence Crawford. He didn't completely rule out Spence, however, as he questioned how Tszyu would handle Spence's signature busy jab, but ultimately suggests that Tszyu's recent activity gives him the edge in sharpness over the naturally larger Spence.
Well, hold on. Let's go back real quick, right? Because Tszyu fought this weekend.
Yep.
Take us through that fight he had with Nurya. Yeah. Take us through that fight real quick.
He still looked good. He had something in the tank left. I don't think he's quite what he was before the Fundora fights and Bakram, but he's still. I don't know. I'm interested in the Spence fight because in this fight he still would put some, take something off the shots and then boom, finish with a sharp shot to the body, a real sharp shot to the body, or a real heavy left hook, nice uppercut here and there. And so what I'm curious about in the Spence fight, from what I've seen from each of their last fights, Spence 3 years ago against Terrence, and again it's against Terrence Crawford, he'll make you not look good. He'll make you not quite look like what you are. But I still think Tszyu is a little sharper punch for punch. The sharp punches he would put together off his combinations, they still look sharper than Errol. But the interesting thing is, Errol Spence, I think, is bigger than him. Even though he's never officially fought at 154, I think Errol's a bigger man than him once he gets up to 54. And the main problem for Tszyu against Errol is going to be that jab. What does he do against that busy, constant jab
Errol
from on Errol's side? Right? Yeah, Errol just keeping that jab in his face. When Bomac prepared for Terrence, he said that's the number one thing we got to take away from him. He fights off his jab. He gets confidence off his jab. He builds off his jab. He dominates you off the jab. So take the jab away, and we got the fight won.
Right.
Tszyu is not Terrence Crawford. So I don't know how he deals with that jab. Again, I think Errol's bigger than him. He's at his best busier than him. But Robert Garcia said today he thinks Errol won't have anything left by the time they do make that fight. And I still saw from Tszyu, he looks sharper to me. And he's been more active.
No analyst is ready to call this a 50-50 fight. There's a huge question mark on what version of Errol Spence we could see in the ring. However, they are still positive on Spence doing the right things to win this fight. Podcast co-host Anthony Brenna agreed with Sean Zittel regarding Spence's chances, but had a blueprint on how Errol needs to approach this fight. Brenna expressed that Tim Tszyu's style is tailor-made for Errol Spence Jr. He noted that Tszyu won't be running around, meaning Spence won't have to chase him. Brenna believes Spence's jab will be the deciding factor, combined with his bulldozer mentality and superior skills. He predicts Spence can successfully manage the reach and height differences to pose significant problems for Tszyu throughout the fight.
I think for this fight, for that fight or potential fight, I'm with Sean. I think
which one though? The important one or the other one?
Porter.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His finger was lit. I was like, God damn it, I was wrong. I gotta be wrong.
I thought it was like in the middle, so I was
because like Sean said, the
important
style,
one.
Yes, the style, I feel like it's tailor made for Earl, and he isn't gonna be in there with somebody who's gonna be running around. He's gonna have to chase him, and his jab. I think his jab is going to get him there, and he has a bulldoze mentality where he's a bulldozer and he's just coming to run you over. And I think that if he can get aside of if he can figure out the height and the reach, which I believe he will, he has the skills to do. I think that he poses more problems to Fundora than Fundora poses to him.
We're not talking about Fundora.
Tszyu.
Tszyu.
Yeah.
I had Tszyu in my mind, but I don't know why I said
Not everyone is dismissive of Errol's chances in this matchup. Boxing trainer Zab Judah shared his opinion on this fight recently, stating that Tszyu is the perfect comeback opponent for Errol Spence because Tszyu's aggressive, forward-moving style plays directly into Spence's strengths. Judah notes that Spence historically dominates and destroys anyone who stands right in front of him to fight. While he acknowledges Tszyu as a tough, high-heart fighter, Judah points out a lack of defensive maneuvers as a major vulnerability. He expects Spence's walk-down style to exploit these gaps, allowing him to remind the world of his true capabilities.
We gotta get us in boxing the Tszyu blood bank. Have somebody come in and scrape up the blood from the ring. He wow.
You know, Spence, obviously looked at it was like, because they're scheduled to fight in July.
Who's that?
And Spence and Tszyu.
Okay.
And Spence looked at that performance because he's seen one of the post-fight interviews. They talked about what you think about Spence. You have a message for him, and he said, "We're gonna go fishing." Spence went online, said, "Listen, now that you're talking your shit, you know, you're gonna get stopped in this fight."
Right.
When you look at a Tszyu Errol Spence fight, you think,
I mean, listen, man. This is what I say, and that's the kind of fight that Errol Spence needs. A guy like Tszyu. Why Tszyu possesses a fight, he's gonna stand right in front of Errol Spence and he's gonna fight. That's the fight that we've known Errol Spence to dominate guys in. You know what I'm saying? We know that for anybody standing in front of Errol Spence toe, he's gonna destroy them. So I mean, this might be the perfect opponent that Errol Spence needs to come back to show the world who Errol Spence really is. I believe he got the perfect opponent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Stylistic.
100%.
This is let's go. Let's minus the Crawford fight, guys. Let's go back before the Crawford fight. And we know the big fish. Anybody standing in front of him, so I think that Tszyu possesses the perfect style. He's gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? He lacks a lot of defense. You know what I'm saying? Maneuvers, and I think that's where the downfall is gonna be at. Other than that, he's a very tough fighter. He comes forward. He has a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? He's great. But a style like a Errol Spence walk down, that's not gonna be. That's ooh. That's watch what I say.
The experts might be expecting an Errol Spence victory on July 26th, but Tim Tszyu just sent out warning shots. In an interview immediately after the Nurja fight, Tszyu revealed all on the next fight. He stated that he's been working hard in training camp, sparring southpaws in preparation for Spence. He further took a jab at Spence for his social media tweets, promising Spence that he's going to have a tough night. Tszyu also mocked Spence for his past comments and losing money on bets against him. Tim Tszyu just turned this fight into a rivalry and now plans to take revenge for their past interactions.
That talk about Errol Spence for the past few weeks, man, how'd you block that out? Were you able to block it out? Were you thinking about that fight at all this week?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, I was. Yeah, it's a bit hard not to.
Everyone's asking you.
Not just everyone's asking me, but you still need to plan it out. Even in this camp, I was sort of sparring southpaws as well. Yeah. Like, as much as I respected Nurja and what he was going to bring, like, I still needed to... It was still coming into my head that I was fighting a southpaw, so it was distracting, but I did try and block it out. I did the best I possibly could.
Mate, Spence's reaction, he put out that tweet. You mentioned it at the press conference, but a few hours later, how do you respond to his tweet?
What did he say again? I didn't really understand what
he said. I forget exactly, but he said something like, you think you're the man, but I'll show you how it's done, or something along those lines.
Man, look, I can't wait to get it on with him, honestly. He hasn't fought in a long time, and I do want to expose that, What did he say?
Yeah, he said, you think shit sweet, do you so bad?
Oh, man, he's got no idea. He's got no idea. He's going to be in for a hard fight, because a style like me, it always presents challenges to a lot of people.
He's only ever fought at 147, Spence. Coming up to that extra weight, what should he expect in the ring with Tszyu?
Yeah, just harder punches, different gloves. It was an 8 ounce. It's not 8 ounce gloves anymore. It's up to 10 ounce, and just a different feeling, Coming off a 3-year layoff, I'm a bad guy to choose off the first go.
He called you trash at one point as well.
Yeah, he also lost money from me as well. So it's just typical, man.
This is going to be an exciting fight. There's plenty of mystery surrounding Spence and what he brings to the table. However, the experts seem confident and feel that Spence should get the victory. As for Tszyu, he's intending to send Spence back into retirement. But what do you think about this fight? Do you want to see Errol Spence return to the ring? Can he beat Tim Tszyu? Drop your predictions in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.